be designed to be appealing to children and shall not use words that refer to products that are commonly associated with minors. So I feel like the rules and statutes, while have maybe a little bit of vagueness in their interpretation, clearly call out a number of times, not appealing to children, labels, and cartoons. Again, the images we're going to show here are going to show those, and we're going to give a little bit of insight onto how we come to those decisions. The last thing I want to mention is that for some of the licensees who have been cited for violations, the first thing I want to call out is no one has faced actionally contemplated action. We have not issued an NCA. We have not taken contemplated action. However, we are coming upon that timetable where we are going to be making those decisions. The CCD takes all materials, all parts of an investigation, all facts when coming to making a decision on administrative enforcement. If the person has recalled voluntarily, if the person has covered their branding, have they been working with us? Have they just told us we don't know what we're doing and we'll see you in court? Those all go into how we will move forward with final disciplinary action. And we take in the totality of the circumstances. You're also going to hear today on branding in the appeals that we are not just looking at one element. We are looking at a number of elements. And again, as we walk through this packaging, I think you're very clearly going to see that very rarely are we looking at one element. We are looking at the totality of facts, the totality of elements. Is this product, is this branding focused on the product, or is it focused on a brand that creates human traits that have expression, that have personality, that tell me really nothing about the product in the bag or the product in the container? So again, we are going to look at those images and hopefully provide some clarity today. We'll not be taking questions. Questions can be used can be sent to the compliance inbox. This is one of the first images that we are going to look at. This is obviously, again, not trying to call out anyone specifically. These are from actual citations. I think we can all agree here that as I read through our statute and rules, that this is in direct violation. I believe we should all be in agreement here that this is just out of bounds and will be marked as out of compliance every time. First of all, I think if you are anywhere near my age, I'm 42 years old. I remember and bought Bazooka Joe bubblegum as a kid. It came with a little cartoon on the inside. Sometimes it'd have a little tattoo that you could lick on and put on. Very familiar with this in my childhood. This is almost down to the lettering and the branding, mimicking a product that is marketed and designed for children. If you're still chewing Bazooka Joe, good for you. Again, I think this clearly markets to children. It mimics a brand. I do know that down in the bottom, maybe we've changed it slightly. We've added an eye patch, but these are very clearly out of bounds. And even if this wasn't mimicking a product that's appealing to children, if we weren't using animated images, I think we can all agree that this product doesn't focus on the branding, does not focus on the product. This focuses on the imagery, the design. There's humanistic traits with this product or branding in the bottom. We've got a smile, we've got eyes. There is an expression and there is personality here. This also is a 1 gram disposable vape. I assume Bazooka Joe is the strain, but again, we are not doing anything to show our product, show the type of product this is. This is all built around the imagery We do not want to inhibit your ability to showcase your products. But very clearly on the front here, we do not have a product showcase. So again, I think this is one we can all very much get behind. I think this is something that we can all agree on, that yes, this is out of bounds. Next one we have is a Tony the Tiger disposable cartridge, Sour Tiger's Blood. Walking through this again, we are mimicking Brandon's design for children. Frosted Flakes is designed for children. When I watch cartoons Saturday morning with my 5.5-year-old son, Tony the Tiger is still popping up. Even when I was a kid, he was there. I think even going back to the superintendent's days. We also have an animated image here that mimics Tony the Tiger. We have humanistic traits. This is a humanoid tiger. There is expression. There is personality. Again, I don't, if I was looking at this and it didn't say cartridge, I would have no idea what this product is. We want you to be able to showcase those products. If you take off cartridge and you're showing this, I might think this is a lollipop. I might think this is a ice cream bar. There is nothing here outside of cartridge and disposable 510 thread that would indicate to the consumer this product. And again, if we're walking through our rules, our statutes, this branding certainly is appealing to children. As I mentioned, Tony the Tiger still on Saturday morning cartoons. There is an animated image here that has humanistic traits and expressions, not product focused. It's excessively playful, it's animated, and it's character driven. So again, even if this wasn't just a ability to showcase, or if this wasn't just a outright kind of branding ripoff of Tony the Tiger and Frosted Flakes, we also have those criteria and those elements. Again, you're noticing these are pretty much one element. We've got Tony the Tiger. But even if this wasn't a recognizable brand and this was just an animated tiger, we are still going to have problems with the fact that it is expressively playful, it's animated, it has humanistic traits, it has expression, and it is not product focused. Very much appear to be focused on the tiger here. And again, you're going to see as we move through these towards the later that we are going to get into where we're using multiple elements. We really just want to illustrate what is out there currently and how easily most of this is identified. Crunch Berries, 100% mimics Captain Crunch. Again, I have a 5.5-year-old son, really loves his morning cereal. I believe he actually had some Crunch Berries this morning. I even looked at this morning. The branding, the font, the colorway, I believe, is the exact same as what I see on my son's Captain Crunch Berries that he eats every morning for breakfast. And then again, we see advertisements on Saturday morning with these. This does nothing to show the product. This isn't product focused. While this isn't necessarily animated, it is expressively playful. You could make the argument the bowl of cereal is the character. I'll also mention this is flour, cannabis flour, 3.5 grams. There is no talk about the flour. I would assume this would be an edible based on what we're seeing. So again, these colorful brands that aren't product focused, that aren't even telling me that I've got a flower except at the very bottom. That's not even a part of the branding here. So we've got another product that is mimicking a product that is marketed traditionally to children. And again, would be in violation of the statute. These are very clear again. I don't think we're going to have any concerns here or any questions here. Our next one, kind of picking up a pattern here, Trix cereal. Now, obviously, we all know Trix. This is the same font. This is the same rabbit. This is the same colorway. This is Trix cereal. We've got some cannabis flower on the front. Again, I believe this is a cannabis flower product. So we're not even advertising an edible. Had the Trix Rabbit not been a celebrity likeness or a product that's marketed to children, we would be looking at this on a number of different elements. And again, I'm going to ask the question, is this expressively playful? I believe 100% we would all agree this is excessively playful. We have someone smiling and an animated rabbit smiling and consuming cannabis. It is animated and it is character driven. It has humanistic traits. It has expression and personality. All those elements together, outside of the fact that this is a branded image that is a product that is traditionally marketed to children. Let's say we had just a new AI rabbit. Even then, this is expressively playful. This isn't product focused. Humanistic traits, has expression, and again, does not showcase the cannabis product at all. The showcase here is the rabbit. We've got our Blake's Lotaburger Green Chili Dream. This is a image that is a logo or colorway of a non-cannabis product. My son loves Blake's, loves this, loves the Blake's guy. When we drive by, knows it, wants to go in and get him a cheeseburger. Even if you have the branding rights. I've worked with Lotaburger. I've worked with Kellogg's. I can use Tony the Tiger. I can use Blake's likeness. These are in violation of the statute. You may very well have that right, and the vendor or the owner of this may very well know that you're doing this. However, that doesn't change the fact in our market, this is going to be looked at as excessively playful. It's animated, and it's character driven. I believe this is flower as well. I understand the intent here and understand that we're trying to be proud of New Mexico, and New Mexico has our wonderful Lotaburger. But even if you own the right here, this has human traits, it's expression, it's smiling, it has personality, and it's not product focused. All of these, I think, fall under designs that mimic brands, logos, or colorways that use images, including not necessarily a celebrity, but a very well-recognized restaurant in New Mexico. Again, my 5.5-year-old son, we see those tall, long, red pinstripe pants. I start hearing I want cheeseburgers. So very appealing to children, not product-focused, playful, animated, and character-driven. A number of elements, again, not just one. And these are great questions for you folks to ask yourselves as you're creating brands, as you're creating packaging. Make sure that you are taking these into consideration. All of these images are also cartoons. They're animated. Any way you put these together, whether they are Tony the Tiger, whether they are Trix, whether they are Blake's, they are all animated. They are cartoons. Cartoons appeal primarily to children. That one element alone is always going to be a challenge for us because it directly violates our statute. We take a number of elements into consideration, but when we see a cartoon, we have in statute, they shall not be appealing to children or mimic cartoons, or symbols. These are animated images. They are, by definition, cartoons. So again, we do take in a number of elements when we look at these. This is not just one issue, but you are always 100% going to be cited if we see animated cartoons. All of these you're going to see have some amount of animation. Here again, I love this example because we're moving away from more traditional, what we would think of as cartoons or branding that markets to children. We've looked at Tony the Tiger. We've looked at Trix. We've looked at Crunch Berries. We've looked at Blake's Lotaburger. Now we're moving into something that would be non-branded, And so I believe that this would not pass, or that would not necessarily be hit on a cartoon or symbol that is a celebrity likeness that is commonly marketed to children. Now, cannabis not commonly marketed to children, but again, we have a cartoon here. This is an animated cannabis leaf that has humanistic features. It's playful, it's animated, and it is character driven. This is again a sativa. It looks like vape. The strain is Maui Wowie. I don't know how this speaks to the product inside. We have a cartoon on the front. It is animated. It has human traits. It has expression, and it has personality, and it is not product focused. So those elements would make this one as well for us. And I hope in all the group, we would agree this is a violation, very clear. We are going to cite this every time we see a cartoon, every time we see animated images, we are going to cite. These should all be very clear. Again, you can always look back to those rules and those statutes. I'm going to bring that one back up. If you guys want to screenshot or write this down, I would encourage you to, when you come to these meetings, that you've reviewed these, that you have these brought up in front of you so that you can go back to those. So again, here, looking at product that mimics minors, mimics minor packaging that is typically used to market to minors. Crunch berries, same way. Tricks. And then we get to our Blake's and our last one that you would say, well, this doesn't mimic. It does not, but it is a cartoon. And again, is playful, animated, and character driven. Those elements all together are going to mark this for violation. Super Buff Cherry. This was one that, again, I think if I show this to all 124 participants, I think we can all agree that this is, number one, again, a cartoon. You may make the argument that it's not marketed towards minors. This isn't something that you typically see on Saturday morning, but 100% is, again, a cartoon. It is expressively playful. He's smiling. He's on the beach. He's buff. It looks like he's in swim attire. It's animated. And again, character driven. I believe this is also flower. We're not talking about a cherry edible here. We're not talking about just a normal cherry. It has human features, appears to be expressive and have personality, and again, is not product focused. I can't drive that home enough that it's not product focused. It is playful. It is animated. It is a cartoon. This looks just like something I would see in the aisles for cereal for children and gummies, candies, and tells nothing about the product that is contained in this package. So those elements bring us to these consensus, and we are going to mark this for violation. This is dangerous. This appeals to children. This is what we are trying to stop. These are blatant examples that we can all understand why we would arrive at this. Hopefully there is no one saying that this is not expressively playful, animated, and character driven, and that this is product focused. Again, I don't even know what the product is in here. I've got a cherry at the beach. I understand this strain may have some cherry. You may have edibles in here with cherries. There are ways to do this that are not expressively playful, that are not using cartoons, and are not character driven. Clouded 1 gram infused pre-roll. Again, I believe this 100% meets our elements. We've got an animated, what I assume is a train on the bottom or a cup of coffee. I'm not really sure, but I've got animated eyes. I've got a cartoon. I've got clouds. Our clouded font is very bubbly, very inviting, warm colors. And it appears the strain is green crack, but all the branding is blue. The eyes, are intent on the animation. Again, expressively playful, animated, and character driven. This is a pre-roll. I don't see that this is any kind of branding. We've got small airplanes as you look in that are animated. All of these, again, cartoons. And again, may not be a celebrity or celebrity likeness or a brand or a colorway that is traditionally marketed towards action has been taken. No contemplated action has. We may very well use that. However, I'd like to point out these next images are images that I believe are somewhere where we may be having confusion. The last few images that we looked at were either well-known cartoons such as Tony the Tiger, the Trix Rabbit, our local Blake's Lotta Burger, or met those kind of standards, those elements of being playful, of having a logo or colorway that appeals to children, that isn't product focused. Now we come to these products, which are live rosin gummies. So we're getting to an edible. And I do look at this and say, okay, we've got strawberry and lime, lonesome berry and lonesome lime. These are starting to get closer here, folks. And someone may argue, well, director, superintendent, CCD, why are these out of bounds? And again, I think this is really when we start to get into multiple elements, where we are not just looking at one element of this package. These would be ones that I would say we are very, very close. Number one, on the left, we've got a strawberry. I understand these are strawberry. Jeffrey, I do see your hand up. We are not going to take questions today. I'm going to give a little bit of background on to why we would get to this point. Again, strawberry, we are showcasing that product. It is focused. It's a strawberry focus. I think our biggest challenge, our biggest headache, our concern for a violation here, based on my reading of the statute and rules before of me, we're starting to get a little playful here. The cowboy hats are animated. We've got some swirls. We've got stars. We've got some rope. The strawberry on the left, it just seems a little too animated. And while it may not be a character, we're almost creating a character with that strawberry by creating some humanistic features. It's wearing a hat. Animals don't wear hats. Strawberries, produce doesn't wear hats. We're starting to give it human characteristics. It's starting to have some expression. It's starting to be fun. We're not just showcasing that this is the strawberry. The lime on the right, I think it's even closer to what we are wanting to see. Again, we've got the cowboy hat. I understand that may be a part of our brand. I see the high lonesome at the top. Maybe we could incorporate, the name and the brand together up there instead of placing this hat on animation. It's also an animated cartoon. Much prefer to see just a more realistic lime. And again, showcasing that these are flavorful. These are very close, but when you take in all the elements, it's warm, it's inviting, it's playful. It still feels as if this is marketed to children. Cowboy hats with stars. We've got some sparkles, some rope, some whipped cream. But we are not just looking at the animation. We are not just looking at the colorway. We're not just looking at the fact that this is not quite product focused. I don't quite know. Again, based on the other products we showed, this could be a joint on some of them. This could be a loose flower. This could be a concentrate. This is an edible, but feels a little too playful, feels a little too character driven and not product focused. But we are getting very close here. Again, our challenge being the additions of the hat. I'm not going to sit here and say that if you take away the cowboy hat, the lime's fine, but I think you folks are starting to understand we've got an animated lime with a playful nature that is giving humanistic traits. Now, the hat, wearing a hat again, as I just spoke. I don't walk down the aisles at Albertsons and Walmart and see my limes wearing hats, but we are getting closer here. And I understand where there would be some confusion. Hopefully, as I walk through this and again, driven home, the fact it's animated, a cartoon. We have expressively playful, humanistic traits with the hat. There's some personality to this, and it's not necessarily product focused. Realistic features with no creative narrative is what we're looking for here. And there are definitely not realistic features here with the cream leaking, the diamonds, the stars, and the rope and the hats. I think this moves us into territory where I would hope that we could agree this is in violation. And again, not trying to call anyone out, just using these examples as we have used these and cited these in the past. Cosmic cookie. Now, again, I think we're getting closer here. I think this is a wonderful example that we can go through just like the last one where we have a chocolate chip cookie. There's a 50 milligram cookie in here. There's 5. This is a cookie on the front. Now, I think where we start to get a little over the line, where we start to walk into a violation is this is a little expressly playful. We've got a rocket ship. We've got the rings around the cookie to make it look like a planet. And then we've got what I guess are moons or asteroids that are chunks of cookie. Seems expressively playful, is animated, has some personality. We are getting closer to a product feature. Now, we remove some of those playful elements. We've removed some of the cartoon elements, and we go to a more traditional cookie. I think everyone would agree, okay, we've got a realistic cookie. I'm selling a cookie. Again, that is product focused. We're at least not looking at a character here, but we can agree, I think, that the rocket ship, the stars, the floating chunks, this looks like something you could walk down a grocery store aisle and that my son would be appealed to, or any child. Ooh, this is a chocolate chip cookie. We see the cosmic brownies. You can get those in, I believe Little Debbie makes those. So we even have a little bit of that symbol and imagery. Again, there are a number of elements, not just one thing here where we're saying this is a violation. We're taking the totality of the facts, the totality of the package, the focus on more expressively playful. And again, while we're getting closer, these are all examples that are much closer, this one and the last one, where we are starting to at least focus on flavor. We're starting to focus on a cookie, but we're a little too playful. Again, these cowboy hats, these imageries, the stars, you see a commonality here with stars, rocket ships. But again, we do concede a little bit that this is a cookie. You're getting close here. This is product focused, but is a little too expressly playful, has some personality, just a little too close to animated and character driven here as well. Again, a more realistic cookie, I think you're getting much closer to what you're trying to showcase as the product focused. The last one we have, again, I think really speaks 100% to what we would say are elements that take into account here. Now, number one, we notice that this is Blue's Clues. As a kid, and as my son's grown up, he's watched Blue's Clues. So we're already looking at a cartoon that is marketed towards children. Clearly here, we're not actually going for Blue's Clues. We don't have the blue dog and our big magnifying glass, and we're not looking for our handy-dandy notebook, but we are on a children's board game Clue. And this imagery and branding mimics Clue. We have a expressively animated, playful, character-driven package that does not showcase our product. It has human traits, it's expressive, and it adds personality. We are not looking at what is actually in here. And again, you see the bottom right corner, this is cannabis flower. The reason I place this one here is I understand that you may make the argument that we're not calling out Blue's Clues, but we're not maybe a wizard that's played. This is an animation. This does mimic the board game Clue, which is driven by children. So again, it is the totality, it's the elements, it's not just one thing. It is the fact we have expressively playful, animated, character driven that is not product focused. The last example I'd like to show is how some folks that have been cited for violation are correcting. Currently, we are allowing for these corrections for a time period. Now, I do want to mention a couple of things here when you are correcting this packaging. The first thing is this packaging, this correction clearly covers the animated image that was on the bottom. We now do not have an expressively playful, animated, character-driven, non-sentient package that doesn't focus on the product. We have covered this with what appears to be some strong adhesive stickers. Now, the other thing here is when you are correcting this branding for the time being, you need to start moving away from packaging that might be on the line or is grossly out of compliance. We will allow for a small time period for these to be sold through. But these packages need to be covered with a strong adhesive, not a Post-it and a piece of masking tape. These should be covered, and when you try to peel these off, this should be a difficult time to peel off. And as you peel it off, should probably pull the package with it a little bit. I worked in the industry for 10 years. We've mislabeled things. That happens. You get a large group of vape pens in, you label them sativa. Oh, man, they were supposed to be indica. We're going to correct that before we put them on the floor. It happens. We are humans. I've had to do this. And when I had to do that, I had to be very careful that when I'm pulling that sticker off, that I don't tear up all the branding on there. That's what we're looking for with that adhesive. We're not looking for something that just covers it. You get it home, you peel it off. This needs to cover and needs to stay affixed with a strong adhesive as you're correcting this. We would consider this product now compliant. It is one way to correct. And again, we encourage those folks who are willing to do repackaging, who are looking to correct these violations. These are creative ways you can, but you need to set yourself up in the future. As the superintendent said, cost of packaging is not going to be something we take into consideration when we're looking at protecting our youth and getting more in line with the statute. Flavor descriptions are somewhat acceptable, but unnecessary elements that are animated or mimic. Again, we're looking at a number of different elements. Think about if the branding is playful, if it's exaggerated imagery. Is it using candies? Is it using stars and things that are typically attributed to marketing to children? We've come to the end here, folks. I'm hoping that this has been somewhat helpful for you folks. Fully obscure, non-compliant elements, however, preserve all required labeling and maintain traceability. I would encourage manufacturers, revisit your packaging. You've had this meeting today. Ask yourself, are these excessively playful? Are they animated? Are they character-driven? Are they product-focused? Do they have human traits? Are they a cartoon? Number one, if you have packaging that has an animated image, most likely 99% of the time that is going to be the definition of a cartoon. Again, do not want to call any of you out. These are violations we have marked. Some of you will be receiving advisory letters where we give you options for your next steps. Others, we will be taking corrective action. Again, I want to again point out we have not taken corrective action towards anyone. It is all our responsibilities to ensure this packaging is not appealing to children. It is the divisions, it is the licensees, and it is the licensees to regulate themselves and to regulate each other. I believe all these examples, as I've walked through them, have a more clear path. Again, I apologize. We're not able to take public comment today. We just don't have an ability to foster that. And to be fair, we wanted to just provide guidance, try to get closer to the target as possible, and use kind of and show you what we look at when we are looking at these packages and making these determinations for violations. It is going to be a number of elements. We're looking at the cartoons. Are they playful? Are they animated? Again, some of these folks, Tony the Tiger tricks, I don't think we have any questions. The last few I showed you, hopefully we've been able to point out where those violations are and why we are citing them and give you a little bit of guidance. Retailers, keep in mind that as these packages come, I hope you are doing a product audit when they come in and that you are checking to make sure that the manufacturing date is correct, the expiration date is correct, all warning labels are there, the testing is correct, our THC diamond, is it fixed? Now I think you need to start asking yourself, are these cartoons? Does this apply to the statue? Are they mimicking branding or design that is traditionally used for children? Are they expressively playful? Are they character driven? Are there humanistic traits and expressions? You have the right to reject those packages and send those back to the manufacturers. We will continue to be out enforcing our violations and enforcing our statutes and rules, whether it is packaging, cameras, track and trace, SOPs, testing. Please adhere to these. Again, you are in the business of compliance first, and make sure your products are compliant so that then your branding, your marketing, and your salesmanship can win out in the end. We're excited to work with you as we move forward. We have about 15 minutes left. I'm going to give everybody that back. Again, the CCD wishes nothing the best. We are excited to see the rescheduling talk at the federal level. We're excited to see updates about cannabis at the federal level. We are hopeful that as federal legalization moves forward, New Mexico will become a unique cannabis tourist destination for the fact that our micro producers and our small craft cannabis will drive people to a very unique experience. We are hopeful that the regulations and the rules and the statutes that we're enforcing are going to set you up for supreme success when we get to federal legalization that I can only imagine will have a high barrier of regulation, rules, and statutes. We want to prepare you for that. We want to get your brands ready for that so that when federal legalization happens, the jump to that is easy and seamless for you, and you are able to meet those. I wish you nothing but the best. I hope you have a great day. And again, all questions can be sent to compliance@CCD. We will do our best to respond to those. Obviously, with 117, if 117 questions come in, we're going to take some time, look at those, and address those. Thank you again for your time, your patience. Hopefully this was helpful. And the CCD, the RLD looks forward to working with